Julian Fellows on his latest cinematic venture.
With a whopping 10 grand up for grabs, there's a lot of money hanging in the balance. Ben Shepherd's here with Tipping Point in an hour. Now though, the doctor's in the house. It's the Alan Titchmarch Show.
And tell me, what would be your ideal role?
Something undercover, I guess.
The Alan Titchmarch Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
Mark, is there a doctor about? I've cut my finger.
Let me see. Keep warm, plenty of fluids, don't put it where you shouldn't.
Please welcome your host, Alan Titchmarch.
Thank you. Hello, welcome to Friday's AT show. Are you feeling ready for the weekend? Yeah! Good, just kick back, get everything ready for a jam-packed hour of celebrities, makeover magic and a sprinkling of Friday fun. First, he used to be a man behaving badly, but now he's a doctor behaving badly, but we love him. Please welcome Martin Clune. Still hurting, actually. I'll see you later. He's the man who created one of the most popular TV dramas of recent years, with no less than 9 Emmys to his name. I'll say he'll be collecting even more awards for his latest film, Romeo and Juliet. Please welcome Downton Abbey's creator, Julian Fellows. With your very own music. Well, she's back with her own style of frank advice. It's our very own queen of agony, Coleen Nolan. What's your problem today, Coleen?
Oh, well, a couple of problems today. Overspending and debt and how to deal with it, and also how to end the relationship.
Some of us have a job beginning one. As the dark and cold nights start to close in, what can you do in your garden to encourage wildlife to thrive? Here, exploring autumn wildlife, please welcome naturalist Stephen Moss. A brisk walk. And we have a hot topic in our daily ding-dong. Should charity fundraisers be banned from the high street? Well, they've been branded chuggers in the media, which is short for charity muggers, but is that a fair way to describe people raising money for good causes? That's later. Now, do you all remember this classic musical?
The groom's waiting at the altar, here comes the bride. They're each promising to love and obey.
7 brides for 7 brothers.
Magic here performing today. Please welcome the cast from the all-singing and dancing musical led by Sam Atwater. 7 brides for 7 brothers. 1, 2. Good way to start the show. Look forward to that performance later. First, though, it's time to find out which lucky member of the audience is getting the makeover treatment today. Earlier, I sent my style team, Mylene Class and Richard Ward, out into the ATQ to find some keen volunteers.
OK, ladies, gentlemen, I've got a question for you. Who would like a makeover?
Come on, guys, you can't all have one. You can't all have one. Who wants it most? Come on, who wants it most? Anyone wants it that badly? Okay. Who wants it really badly? This lovely lady here.
You're all in with a chance of a makeover, but only one of you is going to get it. Come inside and I'm going to reveal more. Follow me.
So here they are, our makeover hopefuls, but only one will be randomly selected by the makeover wheel. I think you're all nervous nervous as anything, aren't you, really? OK. Why have you chosen these particular 6, Richard Marley?
They seemed very eager, very willing.
Well, I asked everybody who wants it the most, and they shook their hands the fastest.
Oh, right. So I'm just
That's legally binding as far as we're concerned.
I'm just relieved you didn't say to right, you look as if you need a makeover. That's the worry, isn't it? Miley,
yes.
Will you? Are you nervous? Yeah. Spin the wheel.
OK, here we go. Good luck, ladies.
And the winner is number 3. Denise, where are you from?
Cheshire, near Buckinghamshire. In Buckinghamshire.
Cheshire in Buckinghamshire. Yes. You've not got a lot of hair to work on here, Richard. I bet you're glad about that. Not a lot of long locks.
Alan, you know me. I'll find some to cut. You know me.
I know. I'd be very afraid. So are you ready for a complete makeover?
Absolutely.
Do you think you're a bit overdue, or did you get yourself sorted ready?
Definitely, yes.
I was trying to make that sound polite, and there was... Wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we look forward to seeing Denise's new autumn look later, and of course we'll be catching up with Mylene and Richard throughout the show. Now, he plays everyone's favourite doctor in the hit comedy drama series Doc Martin, but how is life treating him in sleepy Cornish village of Port Wen?
I'm really sorry I can't deal with James today, so...
You have to.
No, you have to take care of him
Louise
now.
has had an accident. Where's the car key?
Oh, is she okay?
I'll have to get to the hospital.
Well, when will you be back?
I don't know.
I heard about Louise. Is she all right?
Can you look after James?
Yes.
Michael can't, apparently.
Yes, of course.
Oh.
Don't worry, I can take care of him.
Please welcome Martin Clunes. He's normally so calm, Martin, so impassive. Clearly, this is all rather got to him.
It's quite dramatic, these next 2 episodes. I'm a little bit upset. It just gets worse and worse. Life piles up on top of him, the blood phobia comes back, and then Mum, Claire Bloom.
Well, and your auntie, Eileen Atkins, we've got you, Dame Eileen Atkins, and now we have Claire Bloom. We're working with these giants.
Acting royalty,
yes.
Yeah.
They're clearly very happy and very keen to join a cast like this. I suppose in that respect, it's a bit like Midsummer Murders. It's a starry cast every time you come round, really.
I guess so, yeah. People do seem to like, working on this show. I'm sure it's to do with being in Port Isaac. Of course it's to do with being in Port Isaac. But, our crew, about 70% come back time and time
Wonderful.
again. Yeah.
How long's your chunk down there? I mean, you virtually live in Port Isaac, which plays Port Wen, presumably, for part of the summer.
About 4.5 months.
A long time.
Yeah.
But you were laid low this year.
Yes, I was.
What happened?
I don't know. I took enormous measures, because if you're shooting for 4.5 months, you can end up just standing around for 4.5 months. So I always sort of take measures to get fit. I lost a bit of weight and everything, and taking my vitamins every day. And then I just got laid low with a viral infection. That I was changing clothes. I was putting clothes on to go to bed in order to change them 3 times.
So really
sweating. I wasn't wetting the bed, you understand. That's behind me.
Or beneath you, one or the other.
Yes.
But we were used to you in comedy, and now it's a comedy drama. Yes, it is. But in a way, you're the straight guy in this. The series. You still worry me when you're terribly, terribly impassive and dysfunctional with your patients.
I suppose so. I like it. I mean, I do quite. I quite like switching on that. And just sort of being dead to people.
Well, I'm going to say, can it allow you to get it out of your system, get the nastiness, which is there, really?
Yes, no, because I can't even be firm with people in real life. I wish I could be that steely sometimes.
Why do you think people have cottoned on to it? Because you're in Series 8 now, which,
Are we? 6.
6? Close?
Is it? I don't know.
Well, I was being optimistic, forward thinking. 8 episodes.
8 episodes, yeah.
6.
I really don't know. We'd take we're at great pains to get the scripts right.
Well, your other half produces it. This is obviously a family thing. Therefore, you both have a kind of ethos about this show, what it does and what it should do and shouldn't do.
Yes, it's all about tone, I think. And writers we always encourage new people to come on each year, and they never go flop. There's a Doc Martin script. It always needs to be dismantled in one way, because it's quite hard to... The premise is you've got a man who nobody likes and he doesn't like anybody else. It's quite hard to run with that.
You've got to make him likeable to the viewer. That's quite tough, isn't it?
So, yes, I think it's about vulnerability, because he is vulnerable. He's a mess.
Yes. But then it seems to me that village is full of them.
Well,
you know, got Bert Large, who, as we saw, got engaged, you know, recently.
Yes,
That's all right. And then there's the policeman. Well, I mean...
Well, yes. So the idea was that I was, yes, the biggest mess, but they've all caught me up.
You do seem to intersperse the drama with your natural history stuff. We see wonderful programme on horses. I started looking at horsepower. That was wonderful. You're now going to Kenya for various bits. What's happening in Kenya?
That's been going on for about 3 years, that one. We were going backwards and forwards. I don't know if you ever saw, anybody ever saw that YouTube clip of a lion being reunited with the two English people who... Harrods used to sell lions, the idiots. And these people, you know, you can forgive them, it was the 60s or 70s or something, they bought this lion. Luckily for them, beautiful Bill Travis, who played George Adamson in the film of Born Free, came across them. And this lion was growing out of their antique shop in Chelsea. And so he, because he knew George, got on to George, who said, yes, I'll take it. And then eventually, they made a lovely film called Christian the Lion. But all because of Bill's involvement, this lion got taken and rehabbed by George Adamson, because that's what he was doing. And we wanted... My friend Tony Fitzjohn, who I've met through making these things, used to work with George. And that so captured people's imagination, that idea of an animal... remembering, a wild animal remembering, you know, a human, and I think it does to us all. It's fascinating when an animal bonds, even a sheepdog, yes. Like that. So I thought, well, let's try and tell that story and sort of realise that it was the story of animal conservation, because until the Adamsons started doing things like that and raising that awareness, and then that was carried on by Virginia McKenna and Bill Travis, that awareness sort of exploded around the world, and so animals conservation was born. But it's different now. There's no free left, I don't think. You can't really set things free.
They've got to be in reserves.
They sort of have, because people do unspeakable things to them.
Are we going to see the results of your trips out there then?
You are. This was the last one we went out this year, and I got to go to where Elsa... You remember Elsa the lion in Born Free? Well, I went with Virginia McKenna, and we were at Elsa's grave, so there was a huge lump in my throat, but it was lovely for her to go back and to interview her and talk to her about it, and I think that's coming out in the new year.
Lovely.
Sometime.
In the meantime, you'll keep dispensing things on, refusing to dispense things to the people in Port West. As you see fit, and generally not.
Yes.
Julian, ever thought of doing a medical drama? Does that ever appeal?
Well, I live for casualty, so I think I probably could. I love trying to guess what the accident's going to be. You see the ladder wobbling and you see the electrical wire jiggling, and you try to guess which one's going to get them. So I think I would love that.
I'd love to see something coming out of this programme, either you appearing in Downton Abbey, Martin, or Julian doing
We're neighbours.
Are you neighbours?
We're neighbours. My Jackawawa got a rosette at Julian's Dactions show.
Very pleased to know.
New institution.
Very pleased to know that your Jackawawa is alive and well. And my thanks, and so he doesn't have to change his pyjamas 3 times a night. My thanks to Martin Clunes. Don't go anywhere. After the break, Martin will be back for some AT fun. Plus, we'll be meeting Orcs and Owls with naturalist Stephen Moss as he takes us on an autumn wildlife adventure. Back after this.
Can I ask who has supported you most in your career?
Ooh, I'd have to sleep on that one.
The Alan Titchmarsh Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
Moving's well expensive. We had so much stuff to get. So when it came to finding a bed, it had to be right. At Benson's for Beds Comfort Station, each bed's got this little firmness number. So you just try them all out and find out which one's right for you. No more guesswork. I love this bed. I love breakfast in bed too.
There's an extra 10% off everything in store in the Benson's for Beds half-price Blue Cross event, and interest-free credit on everything over £150. Offer ends Tuesday.
Join us as we navigate our way across the nation.
Not going to think.
Meeting everyday people who've unearthed some remarkable rarities.
We knew it was important, but we didn't know exactly how important.
It's the only one in existence.
Discover Britain's secret treasures. Thursday at 8:30 on ITV.
And can you tell the audience what happened next?
I won't lie, I went as white as a sheet.
The Alan Titchmarsh Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
again. Still to come, the results of our autumn makeover, plus 7 brides for 7 brothers are performing for us later. Sam, you play one of the brothers, Adam, lead brother.
Yes.
Fun show. We all love watching the film.
It is. It's a great show. We've actually taken the show from the US version, so it's an updated, fresh version, and it's a brand new set and everything else. And we've got these young dancers who you'll see later on are just incredible. So it's a brand new version. So if you've not seen it yet, then make sure you get tickets.
But all the numbers are in.
They're all in. We've actually got some new numbers which have never been seen before, which I managed to sing, which is great. So yeah, there's added stuff as well as the great old stuff.
Wonderful. We look forward to the barn raising on stage. Should be worth seeing. Time now for some AT fun and games, I hope, with Martin Clunes. As Doc Martin, we thought we'd see how many Doctor punchlines Martin could guess. I have to tell you, I'm not remotely optimistic. OK? Right. This is very unwise. Doctor, I think I'm a bell.
Shut up, get out. Take these. If it doesn't help, give me a ring. It's all in the delivery.
Shall I stop now? Doctor, I swallowed a bone.
Are you choking?
No, I really did.
We should go on the road.
Doctor, will this ointment... Who needs the longer arm? Doctor, will this ointment clear up my spots?
I'm not sure. I never make rash promises.
Doctor, I'm becoming invisible.
Yes, I can see you're not all there.
Doctor, I think I'm a bridge.
Well, what's come over you?
Oh, two cars, a large truck and a coach.
Ba-boom! We'll never stop.
No, we'll never stop. We'll never eat. Do you know, I do love people who come on this programme who are good sports. Martin, you're starting. Mind you, it'll never work again. There we are. Now, as the season changes into autumn, there are many notable changes with wildlife, none more so than for seeker stags wanting to impress the females.
The defender is getting a beating. He's fighting, not just for his females, but now for his life. He's held on. Just.
It's an amazing place to live, the British Isles. Things change every month of the year. One man who's written an astonishing, multicoloured book about it is the naturalist, Stephen Moss. It does remind you how lucky we are to live in a country where there is seasonality, where things change from season to season. But what's special about autumn, Steve?
Well, what I love about autumn is that people think it's this time of sort of death and decay and departures. You know, everything's going, the leaves are turning brown. But actually, as you can see there, so many things are happening. It is such an exciting time.
So particular things to look out for at this time of year?
Well, the deer rutting, of course.
And they're just trying to impress females,
well, what's happening is that the men are basically getting all the attention and doing all the noise and making all the fuss. But it's the women, it's the females who actually make the decision. They're the ones that choose.
How like life. How like our everyday life.
Like my
Men make the most noise, and then you look at her and she goes, oh, yes. I don't think so. It's the same in nature.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And we've got the birds departing. I saw 2 swallows today, probably the last one's going, but very soon the birds are going to come in, the geese and the ducks and the swans and things like that.
And this is why, certainly in my garden, I leave lots of apples that fall on the ground for things like redwings and fieldfares, and they tend... So they're coming from where the swallows are going...
The swallows are going all the way to South Africa.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. A bird that weighs about an ounce is going to fly all the way to Africa. But we forget in Britain that we have winter visitors as well. So, as you say, these thrushes, redwings and fieldfares, beautiful, beautiful thrushes. They come from Iceland, from Scandinavia and from Arctic Russia.
So both sets of birds are trying to get warmer, but the swallows need it warmer than the fieldfares and the redwings.
It's all about food.
Yeah.
You know, there's the berries around, the bushes around my home in Somerset are absolutely laden at the moment with fruit, and that's what's really going to make the difference.
Yeah. Things like, you know, squirrels and stuff in the garden, there's this great battle about, you know, red squirrels are our natives, greys are the interlopers, but there's nothing we can do to encourage reds where they ain't, is there?
No, there
apart
isn't.
from the places like Anglesey and the Isle of Wight, where we are getting them going and expanding their territory. Is it impossible to get a red squirrel going in somewhere where there are greys?
It's not impossible, but sadly it involves killing the grey squirrels, and that's what's happened on Anglesey and in the Lake District. And unless you do that, unless you cull the grey squirrels, which is a pretty unpleasant thing to do, but sadly I think it's necessary, that's the only way to get the reds back. Don't think you could do it in the middle of London. I don't think you could do it in a London park.
Yeah. Well, one day maybe we'll see it. Martin, do you see much wildlife when you're filming, Doc Martin?
Yes, loads. And my dogs are doing a really good job of trying to get rid of the grey squirrels.
Yes. Long may they continue. I'll get letters, right? Less frequent wildlife sightings are those of rare and endangered birds of prey. Here to tell us more, you probably just heard those little jingling bells, bird handler Stephen Charlton. I won't shake your hand. So, Stephen, you've got with you a barn owl. Barn owls, Stephen, rarer and rarer now, presumably, are they?
They're making a bit of a comeback, but it really depends on weather. If we get a hard winter, particularly if we get very wet weather, they're in real trouble, aren't they, Stephen?
That's the problem with them. They face such hardships out there all year round. When we're going into autumn, they need to build up reserves of fat. The thing is, all the hunting techniques, usually near roads, so they become casualties. And unfortunately, it's not a good thing for the barn owl. But the upside is the other ones are doing fairly well.
The tawny here, tawny owl, doing its to-it and waiting for its to-woo to come from the other side of the studio, which isn't there. So, tawny much more common, because you've all heard this sound at night, haven't you? You always look the wrong way, don't you? You're going to come look at me if I walk around here, then they can see your eyes. This is it. That's right, look around here. So, much more common than the barn owls?
Much more common. They estimate there's about 45,000 pairs of tawny owl left, whereas it's down to about 5,000 pair of barn owl. One of the main reasons, though, is the lack of contact with people, really. Because the tawny owl lives in woods, they're less likely to come in busy roads and in contact with people.
Yeah.
So that's why their numbers can go up so high.
Now, behind you, a really spectacular bird of prey. Few of us have a chance to see this, the goshawk.
That's correct.
So what are we down to numbers with goshawks?
Right, well, this is a northern goshawk, and as you can see, she's a highly predatory bird. In fact, this is probably one of her prey items in the wild.
She's looking pretty interested, actually. It's going to be a first for television, ladies and gentlemen. Not for the wildlife programme, but in a studio. Yeah, we're hoping not. Go on.
But they say that there's down to 410 pairs of goshawk left in the wild. Most of the goshawk we have here have been imported anyway from years gone by. 410 pairs. That's not a lot, considering the distribution across the whole of the United Kingdom.
Harvest time is pretty good for them, presumably, Steve, because little voles and critters are coming out from underneath the straw and the hay and whatnot, and making good, rich pickings there.
Particularly for the barn owls.
Yeah.
You know, we've had very settled weather, haven't we, for the last couple of months, and that is brilliant for the barn owls.
Is there anything we can do, Stephen, for the birds of prey ourselves?
There is, and it all starts off, really, with bird gardens and tables in your gardens.
Right.
A lot of people feed the birds. Autumn is a good time to start getting the food out for them and making sure you do it all the time, not just once every now and again. Lets the garden birds build up their reserves. And as harsh as it sounds, these are the apex predators. So the more of the garden birds that we feed, in the long run, it's going to go right to the top and it's going to help the apex predator.
Stephen, just talk us through the various bits and bobs we can get. We've got, you know, good sturdy bird feeders and things that are squirrel-proof.
This is fantastic. This is something I haven't seen. It's really high-tech. It's a new squirrel-proof feeder. And we don't like the squirrels getting into our bird food, do we? And this is perfect because the little birds can pick the seeds out and the squirrels can't.
Yep, right. You've got there, that's sunflower hearts.
This is sunflower hearts, which are great because they don't make a mess. If you have sunflower seeds with that black stuff around
all over the ground.
Yeah, it goes all over the ground.
Niger seed is brilliant in my garden for goldfinches.
Yeah.
They come for this all the time. Little fine black seeds, and goldfinches and greenfinches will come for those.
Well, they're the only bird that can get their beak into this tiny feeder and pick out these tiny seeds. That's what's so special about
tiny little slips.
And they're doing really well at the moment. And then we've got this bizarre thing, this cranberry. Not quite sure what it is, but it looks like something I'd feed my children, but...
Yes, or feed to fish.
Yes, possibly.
So that's a great treat for them, apparently.
Apparently, yes.
Nest boxes getting them up now for both roosting and for prospecting later on in spring for egg-laying, presumably. But
The blue tits will be going in and out now, looking at it, but maybe, as you say, in winter, the wrens particularly, they want to huddle up, keep warm if it turns cold. They'll be going in there.
Julian, garden attract wildlife? You're down in Dorset. Are you wildlife conscious down there? Do you put stuff out for birds and things?
No, I am actually, because we have a couple of rivers by our house, and we see egrets and actually wonderful birds, kingfishers and all that sort of thing. And so, yes, I am rather aware of it. And it's a great privilege, actually. Dorset is a great privilege to live in, I think.
God, yeah. Yeah.
The two Dorset men over there. And my thanks. Thanks to them, and also thanks to Stephen Charlton and Stephen Moss. Thank you both very much indeed. Next is time for today's Ding Dong. Should charity fundraisers be banned from the high street? They've been branded chuggers by some. That's short for charity muggers. But are they really such a nuisance? Chief Executive of the Institute of Fundraising, Peter Lewis, says the money raised on the streets makes such a difference to good causes, whereas radio host James O'Brien is sick and tired of getting hassled on the streets and wants to see them banned. Let's hear the argument from both sides. Gentlemen, the floor is yours. Peter.
Well, last year, 865,000 people in this country signed up to support a charity through direct debits. £130 million were towards good causes, helping homeless people, research into cancer. That's why charities need to still be able to ask for support on the street.
865,000 people signed up for it. 800,064 and 99 actually didn't want to, but they were responding to this dreadful exertion of pressure upon you when you're out in public, because it doesn't feel like they're saying, do you want to support this charity? It feels like they're saying, are you a generous person? And that's very bad manners. It's also very uncomfortable, because you might well be a generous person, but you don't feel the need to justify yourself to a spotty Herbert with a clipboard who looks at you as if you haven't washed that morning when you say, no, thank you very much. I've been quite enough already.
There is an assumption, isn't there, that, you know, people who don't want to give in the street don't give anything anyway. It could be wrong.
But the generosity of the British public is shown by the people actually signing up and supporting those charities and giving that money. I'd be interested to know how would James fill that gap of £130 million helping homeless people? Well, you all know.
That's your job, Peter. If you want me to tell you, I will.
You're a radio host. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Well,
if you don't ask the public for
informed
support,
audience, and there's a difference between information and pressure. So what you should be doing is having the people that work for the charity possibly trying to promote their cause from a position of proper understanding and support, rather than some students who've had about 6 hours training being sent out on a Monday to raise money for pandas, a Tuesday for orphans, a Wednesday for homeless people, a Thursday for lemmings, and Fridays for, goodness knows, retired radio presenters.
That just shows James' lack of understanding of the issue. Most of the teams of fundraisers who are out on the street at the moment actually are employed by the charities, by homelessness charities, by disaster relief charities. They are directly employed.
You know as well as I do that you can see the same people promoting different charities from one week to the next. And very sincerely, they do raise money for very good causes, but they're raising it from people who are not giving it for the right reasons.
Coleen, do they irritate you when you're buttonholed in the street?
Yes.
Yep.
I feel guilty saying that, but they do. I've got charities I support, so I don't need them badgering me when I'm shopping.
Martin, when somebody comes up to you with a collecting tin, do you always put something in out of guilt or because you want to help?
You're talking utter rubbish, making such huge assumptions that you really can't back up. And if you're embarrassed by being asked or pressured by being asked if you're generous or not, then don't go out, you pussy.
Well, there's a first. That's not very charitable.
Do your arguing this way.
I won't repeat that language, but I will remind you what Jesus said, which is that when you are being charitable, your left hand should not know what your right hand is doing. So you can use whatever foul language you please. The bottom line is that charity is a private matter between you, your conscience, and your understanding of the world. It's not something you should be hit round the head with outside Marks and Spencer's.
And on that biblical note, we heard what Peter and James had to say. Now it's time for our studio audience to mull it over, as later in the show they'll be voting on who they think is right. But for now, my thanks to Peter Lewis, James O'Brien and Martin Clunes as well. Thank you very much. Coming up, Coleen Nolan on today's dilemma in our very own photo casebook. How do I end my relationship? Plus, he's the man behind one of the biggest TV phenomena. We meet Downton's creator, Julian Fellows. That's next.
I ask who has supported you most in your career?
Ooh, I'd have to sleep on that one.
The Alan Titchmarsh Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
We're moving home to a bigger place. It's a wrench, but we need more family space. There'll be a bedroom each for our 2 boys, space for all their toys and noise. There'll be living room and laughing room, and memories to treasure, and space for us all to do our own thing, as long as we're together. With something for everyone, and everything for someone, there's no place like Dunelm.
I have never felt like this.
There is no little one, is there?
I lost it.
I have not forgotten what Pal did.
I can give you money.
How could a man not want to share a bed with you?
Breathless. Thursday at 9 on ITV.
And can you tell the audience what happened next?
I won't lie, I went as white as a sheet.
The Alan Titchmarsh Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
Welcome back, with apologies for any intemperate language in that last part. Things get rather heated. Richard and Mylene are frantically working hard over in the makeover pot. How's it going?
Hello. It's going very well. We've managed to get Denise out of the trousers. She lives in trousers and into some dresses, so we're just trying those on at the minute.
All right, it's taking you this long to get her out of trousers, I think. That's very promising, isn't it? Have fun.
OK, will do.
But first, she's back with her trademark style of straightforward advice. Please welcome Britain's frankest agony aunt, Coleen Nolan. Coleen gets many folk writing to asking for advice. One problem that always comes up in her postbag is about money, and in particular, debt. I gather. A lot of it.
A lot of it, and, you know, it's easy for us to say, well, stop spending, don't do it. It actually can become, you know, like any addiction, it's an illness that they need help with. I get so many letters from people that can't stop spending, haven't told their family or haven't told their husbands, and now they're in thousands of pounds worth of debt.
So, first base is what? If you're in debt, what do? Presumably share it with somebody, but who?
You have to share it with somebody. You can share it with your doctor, because he will recommend somebody that you can talk to that deals with addictions of any kind. But, you know, sometimes once you realise it is a problem, you have to sit down, face your fear, tell your partner and say, look, I'm really sorry, I need help with this. You know, there's all different ways. Then you can go and see the bank and work out how you're going to pay it back. Cut up the credit cards is the main thing, so, you know, that temptation isn't there.
Stop
it's
spending
gone.
what you haven't got.
Absolutely, because so many people do, and especially when it's coming up to, you know, Christmas and stuff.
For goodness sake, share it with somebody you know you can trust. Don't bottle it up. Now, we've got an interesting photo case booked for you today, Coleen.
We have one of our marvellous award-winning films again, Alan. This is all about ending relationships.
Yes. Right, here we go.
Kirsty is confiding in old friend Michelle. James has asked me to marry him, and it's made me reconsider our relationship.
Isn't that what you always wanted?
Recently things have changed and I'm not so sure.
Do you love him?
Not in that way. We're more like brother and sister.
You've got to tell him it's over.
I don't want to break his heart. Splitting up would destroy him.
I see Martin Clunes and Julian Fellows were looking at the production values there enviously. I could see them wishing that they'd been involved in something as quality. I can just see Emmy and Oscar written all over that. But ending a relationship, you've got to decide why you want to end it first. Brother and sister.
Well, I think if it's got to the point where you're even, you know, if someone's asked you to marry them and you're even doubting it for 1 second and you think, well, he's more like my brother, and, you know, you can get wrapped up in the whole family thing and friends love him and mum and dad love him. But, you know, you have to be honest with yourself. Look deep in yourself. It's not worth being with somebody if you're having doubts already. And yes, you're going to break his heart. It's going to break a few people's heart. It'll break your heart because it's not a nice thing to do.
But it'll break his more if you go on even longer with it and marry and then do it.
Absolutely. You know, so many people get into the marriage situation, kids come along, and it's no point 10 years down the line saying to him, well, actually, I wasn't sure on the day, you know. Do it now.
But don't do it by text.
Not by text.
Have you got to bite the bullet and do it face-to-face?
Yes, I think you should do it face-to-face, and it is a very difficult thing to do, but absolutely, if you're going to end a relationship, especially a long-term one, you know, give them some credit and do it face-to-face.
But if people are too cowardly to do it face-to-face?
Well, if they're too cowardly to do it. But I think writing a letter is better than a text. I mean, there's only so many things you can say in a text. It always sounds wrong. If you haven't got the guts to do it face-to-face, then a lovely letter, and think about what you're saying and take time over the letter.
Bite the bullet and remember there's a couple of months to Christmas, so there'll be something to think about in the future. If you have a problem, no matter how large or small, and you want to come on the show and get Colleen's frank advice, email us at alan@itv.com. Also, if you've been affected by anything we've spoken about today, do visit our webpage, itv.com/Alan, where you'll find details of helplines. My thanks to Coleen Nolan. Thank you, Coleen.
Thank you.
The huge success of Downton Abbey, creator Julian Fellowes is always going to have a lot to live up to with his next project, but I'm pleased to say he's not let us down with his latest offering, the classic Shakespearean tale of Romeo and Juliet.
Never was a story of more woe than this, of Juliet and her Romeo.
Who's Romeo of the House of Montague? Don't let their name be spoken in this house.
You are mine no more. So help me God! Romeo! Come settle with me, boy!
Please welcome Julian Fellowes. Welcome. Julian, it's a tale oft told, a tale told many times. Does that make it harder to do your version of it, knowing what to throw away and what not to throw away?
Well, I think it's told many times because it keeps being relevant. And the thing is, this is a play about young love, about first love, and, you know, it has a kind of meaning in all our lives. I mean, most of us don't marry our first love, thank God, but we all remember them. And it is an extraordinary period of growing up that you think no one understands what you're feeling. It's like being mad, really. And Shakespeare sort of plugged into that. And so each new generation reinvents it and reinterprets it. I mean, for me, the appeal of this production, when the producers came to me, was that they wanted to do another really romantic one, you know, set in medieval Italy and the sort of wonderful castles and all that stuff.
So the setting is as was, as it was.
The setting is as was. And there hasn't really been one like that since Zeffirelli in the 60s, you know, which is sort of half a century ago now.
With Leonard Whiting and
Olivia Hussey.
Yeah.
And it was charming. I mean, there have been very good ones. Baz Luhrmann was very, very good, but he chose to interpret it in a modern setting, and we haven't done that. We've got climbing roses and costumes and the ballroom and all of it.
You always, whenever I talk to you, you are always brimful of confidence and self-assuredness. And I wonder, I can never imagine you sitting at a typewriter, as we always used to say, being sort of angst-ridden. But you're a writer, so you must. What are the things that bother you when you're doing something like that?
I keep my angst at home. Of course, it's a challenge, you know, you're taking on Shakespeare. I mean, we wanted to do it in Shakespearean language and have all the original great speeches and gallop apace, ye fiery-footed steeds and all of that. But at the same time, we wanted the story to be clear and the narrative to be graspable. We didn't want to make a film for Shakespearean scholars. You know, they could go to Stratford or whatever. I mean, having said that, if someone sees this film and then wants to read the play and then wants to go and see the play, as far as I'm concerned, we've been completely successful. But we want to reach an audience that wouldn't perhaps associate Shakespeare with a great time on Friday night, you know, but they go and they enjoy it much more than they're expecting, I think, I hope.
If they enjoyed a fraction as much as your other work, they'll enjoy it hugely. Downton has been the most phenomenal success of, I think, probably this century. All right, we're only 13 years in, but it is phenomenal. And yet this week, particularly, shock, horror, the nasty things that happened to Anna below stairs. Headlines in the newspapers, you know, Downton's gone too far. But, you know, you're a dramatist. Is this fair comment that you shouldn't have shocked people on a Sunday night like that?
Well, I mean, you know, we had Mr. Pamuk dying in Mary's bed, and we've taken them all through the war, and we had Sybil dying, you know, in childbirth and so on. I think what's important about the way we handled this, though, which you wouldn't get if you read some of the newspapers, we don't actually show much. because that isn't our way. We're not interested in some horrible, gruesome thing that you're actually watching. What we're interested in is what it does to the psychology of the characters. And this is Anna's plot. This is Anna's plot for the remainder of the series. I read somewhere where it said, oh, but it's so quickly resolved. Well, of course, it's nothing like resolved. It goes right on through the whole show as she has to piece together her life. And I think what one has to remember is that in that period, even more than ours, but let's think we're out of it, you know, it was a very frightening thing to reveal this stuff, because your reputation was everything, how people looked at you, how they thought of you. And also, the problem she has highlighted is the fact that she is afraid her husband, if he ever finds out, will do something that will put him back into prison or at the end of a noose. Now, you know, that may be an extreme case, and the noose at least now is out of it. But even today, it's a very difficult choice for a woman who's been attacked. Does she go public? Does she ruin the lives of her family? Does her husband have to go almost mad with grief? Or does she try and keep it in?
But people say, but yes, but this is Downton Abbey. This is our Sunday night view. Are there places you wouldn't go writing Downton Abbey, where you think, no, actually, we won't do that, because that's really overstepping the mark?
I think, there certainly are. But I think something like assaulting women is still very much a problem in our society. And is happening all over the place. And I think it's reasonable to try and deal with something that almost all of us will know someone who's been put through something inappropriate.
And I think,
that makes it legitimate.
The fear in Anna's face, in Joan Roberts' face, was astonishing. I mean, it was deeply unsettling. We've just been talking about it here, and some were saying, you know, came to work on the following day on Monday, and it was still upsetting me, the fact that I'd seen her going through that.
Well, of course, the fact that you love the character is what makes it moving. I mean, that's why, you know, we killed in the First World War William, because we loved him. You don't just want to get someone in and give them 2 scenes and then whack them off. You've got to be involved with them. And I think the audience of Downton is very involved with Anna, and so they should be.
Are we getting another series after this one?
There will be another one after this one.
But we don't know after that.
But we don't know after that.
How long would you like to keep on writing it? How long do you think you could go on writing for?
I want to go on writing it as long as you want to go on watching it.
What a wonderfully diplomatic and very wise answer. You can catch Romeo and Juliet in the cinemas from today, and Downton Abbey on Sundays. Required viewing. My thanks to Julian Fellows. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you very much.
After the break, the wait's over, but will Denise like her autumn-style makeover? And the 7 brides are just waiting for 7 brothers. They get together after this short break.
Can I ask who has supported you most in your career?
Ooh, I'd have to sleep on that one.
The Alan Titchmarch Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
This autumn, Sky Bingo is giving all new players £20 free. Join today and you'll also get 5 days access to our newbie room, where we've got enough free bingo to brighten up the cloudiest of days. And why not try the Sky Bingo app for instant access to all your favourite games and exclusive jackpots. And because we like to reward all our players, you'll automatically earn loyalty points every time you play. Everyone's welcome, so join today and claim your free £20.
I hope I'm a surprise and not a shock.
I must have done something wrong.
We live together, we work together. Sometimes I think it's just too much.
Jack Ross, at your service.
Oh, Mary.
Downton Abbey, Sunday at 9 on ITV.
And can you tell the audience what happened next?
I won't lie, I went as white as a sheet.
The Alan Titchmarch Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
Welcome back. An all-singing, all-dancing, spectacular performance by the cast of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. That's later. But now, earlier we met Denise, who was chosen at random by our makeover wheel. Well, she was whisked away by Mylene and Richard, and they've been treating her to a new autumn look. Let's remind ourselves of how Denise looked earlier. And here is Denise now. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You haven't seen what you look like yet, have you? No. Well, what a transformation. Woo! They're all going woo. Richard, tell us what you've done with the hair.
Well, Denise's hair was quite short to start with, so I've just sort of tidied up the haircut. So not too much there, but the main thing this week is, as you can see, the colour, sticking with the autumnal theme. And autumnal colours are reds, coppers, honeys. We've taken the base colour down. As you can see, if you've got quite fine hair, just a little tip for everybody, if you take your hair a little bit darker, that's a good thing. And just broken it up with these lovely autumnal reds and coppers.
You got your own autumn tints, Denise. It's wonderful.
She was saying to me she last had her hair coloured 20 years ago, so this is way overdue. And not only that, I'm sure Denise won't mind me mentioning this, she turned 60 this year, so...
Whoa!
The fact that
You just turned by the clock.
Well, on the subject of when we had last had things done, you were saying that you last went shopping for clothes 2 years ago. So,
So what are we wearing?
Well, what we've got here is a contour dress. Ladies, the contour dress is your best friend. It gives you curves in all the right places. Plus, a V-neck is also extremely flattering. The embellished necklace, it just adds that extra little element that's eye-catching.
Oh,
but this for me,
little Theresa May's on the feet.
Oh, well, everyone knows I love a bit of leopard print, so it's a winner. But yeah, Madeline, £45.
Would you like to see what you look like?
Yes,
because you
please.
haven't yet, have
No,
you? Stand right there.
Yes.
This, Denise, is you now.
Wow. Oh, that's lovely.
Don't touch it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Denise. Now, the question of the day in our ding-dong was, should charity fundraisers be banned from the high street? If you agree with Peter Lewis and think, hold that up, think they play an important role for charities, please raise your blue paddle. Or if, like James O'Brien, you're sick and tired of getting hassled in the street, please vote yellow. Raise your paddles now. Oh, gosh. They want to give you money, Peter, but they don't want to be hassled in the high street. And Martin's now throwing biscuits at them. Is there a topic or issue you'd like to see argued out in our daily ding-dong? Email us at alan@itv.com. A big thank you to all my guests today. Join us on Monday, when I'll be with singer Michael Bolton and historian Bettany Hughes. Have a great weekend, and to get you in the mood, so I'd leave you with an all-singing, all-dancing performance. You can catch Sam Atwater and the cast on their nationwide tour across the UK until next May. Here's the spectacular Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
You came out of nowhere,
walking through the door, looking straight my way.
wonderful, wonderful,
Millie, don't worry.
wonderful, wonderful,
Millie, let's hurry.
wonderful, wonderful.
Millie, resist me.
It's too late, you already kissed me.
Bless your beautiful heart.
less than 2 wins in their final games can guarantee a trip to Brazil for Roy's boys next year, so the pressure is on as England take on Montenegro in the World Cup qualifier live from Wembley tonight at 7:30. Coming up next, it's Tipping Point.
The Alan Titchmarsh Show, sponsored by Benson's for Beds.
The chat show that speaks for itself.
Don't miss it.
Join Jonathan on Saturday with guests Tom Hanks, Sandra Bullock, Cilla Black and an exclusive performance from James Arthur. The Jonathan Ross Show, Saturday at 10:15 on ITV.
Unlike some, National Accident Helpline has a no-win, no-fee, no-risk guarantee. Call 0800 556 557 or go to underdog.co.uk.
Has getting in and out of your bath become a bit of a problem? An Aqualift from Willowbrook could be the answer. No worries about losing your balance or slipping. The Aqualift smoothly lowers and lifts you gently into your own bath. Full depth bathing without the expense of changing your bathroom. Order now and receive a 20% discount. Regain your independence with Aqualift from Willowbrook. Call 0800 028 2802 for a brochure.
Save your skin from drying foundation.
I am Oasis.
New whipped cream foundation. And now, save your skin for less with £2 off whipped cream foundation at Boots. From Max Factor, the makeup of makeup artists.
This is a mascara stain that Esther left on her pillowcase. That much. We're going to pop this in.
Give it a quick rub. You can see it's coming out already.
My favourite shirt and the raspberry stain wants to vanish.
There's no stain.
All vanished. Happy face.
Come and see this! A new liquid gel!
Oh, it has a nozzle that stops by itself so nothing's wasted.
Smaller than before, but with more power in every drop.
So what?
It's as if it actually gets into the dirt and lifts it off. How come it cleans so well, but with so little? It's because we're all so watery.
Yeah. New Flash Liquid Gel. There'll be jealousy all over the neighbourhood.
We can all get a little competitive now and then. We may resort to underhand tactics or downright cheating. However, it's not the winning, but the taking part that counts. With special touches from Dr. Oetker, like easy swirl cupcake icing, wafer daisies, soft gold pearls, and many, many more. Enjoy even better baking with Dr. Oetker.
Need some inspiration to bring your room to life? With the help of Hillary's, any window can make a room feel really special. And now we're making our autumn sale even more special with an extra 10% saving. Save 20% off selected Romans, curtains and wood Venetians, and up to 50% on selected blinds and shutters, with an extra 10% when you book a free home appointment by Monday the 14th of October. Call 0800 916 1000 or visit hillarys.co.uk.
It's more than a jumper. It's my haven. To keep this comfortable feeling, I care for it with new Lenore. Its formula penetrates in between the fibres and helps to keep my clothes looking newer for longer. I feel good in Lenore.
This Saturday there's another £10 million jackpot and another 1,000 raffle winners of £20,000.
I got my ticket.
Don't want to miss it. New Lotto. Get your ticket now.
There's no easy way to know if I'm looking back or I'm getting close. What if the closest I get to the moment
ITV, where drama lives.
Hello there, good afternoon. A bit of brightness in the sky today, but that's fading fairly quickly. We've got more of a changeable picture through the weekend, and the reason for that, well, low pressure across the continent at the moment is heading ever more our way through Saturday and Sunday, introducing some rain across the southern half of Britain. And I think for us in the southwest, well, it's mainly a showery picture, but certainly not much in the way of sunshine. Tonight, a few clear spells around, particularly inland. 12 Celsius the lows there under those clearer skies. 1 or 2 showers will be knocking along the coast there. Quite a brisk breeze, though, coming down from the northeast, so not quite as chilly as last night. But a cloudy old start to Saturday morning, not much in the way of brightness, and some showers again rattling along the south coast through the course of the morning there. A brisk breeze, so it's going to knock into those temperatures, and about 13 Celsius we think at best by about lunchtime. Now on to tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures not improving much more, I'm afraid. 13 to 14 at best. The further north and east you are, the more chance you are of getting a shower. It's always going to be just that little bit drier in Cornwall, but as I say, not much in the way of sunshine and still quite breezy as well. Continuing changeable through Sunday, the wind changing direction here, so picking up in temperatures just 1 or 2 degrees to about 14 Celsius. Cloudy on Monday, but brighter on Tuesday. The wind's not quite as strong, so feeling just that little bit warmer as well.